Um, Today my vlog is going to be about the judgment and kind of criticisms and challenges that I faced as a young, pregnant, married milso. So milso is sort of um, not as important in this vlog as the other things, but I think it's something that everybody can relate to regardless of military or not. I think that for the most part, I've kind of found solace in the Milso community rather than judgment, because it was somewhere that I could go where I felt like there were other people that were going through the same thing as me. There's definitely challenges, but not something that I feel um, isn't like something I can overcome, like him being gone or and all of that, which is very hard, and it's really hard on me, and he knows that, and it's really hard on all of us. But it's not something that I can't overcome within myself. So there's a lot of things I don't tend to like post my opinions on things very publicly because I don't want to deal with the hate or the challenges or all that. I think pregnancy-wise with the hormones, it's just impossible to um, kind of not take it personally, so I don't really do that a lot. But it really is, it's amazing to me, and I made a post on my personal about this earlier, some of you may have seen. It's amazing to me that I feel more judged as a 22-year-old who's married and starting a family than I did as a 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old who was going to frat parties every night and staying out till 4 in the morning and doing things that were definitely fun, but kind of questionable at times, and definitely not something that like a grown-up person would really be focused on. And granted, like I said, I mean, I was 18 and 19 and I had so much fun, so I'm not like putting that kind of lifestyle down at all, because I had so much fun and I really did learn so much about myself. But it really is incredible how much more judged I feel. So what started this for me was somebody posted a article on Facebook about it was like 20 things that women in their 20s need to stop worrying about until they're in their 30s or something along those lines. And so I'm looking through this article and it's like, why are you worried about like if you're ever going to get married or have kids? Your 20s are for fun. You can't be tied down right now. Like, that's not what you want from your life, blah, blah, blah. And while I agree that that's true for some people, I think that your 20s are kind of your time to figure out who you are. They're the time to figure out if you want to be the CEO of something, or you want to be the head chef, or you want to be, the traveler, or you want to be whatever it is that you want to be. So why are we putting down people that decide that what they want is to be married and have kids? Yes, the divorce rate is high. The divorce rate is high for everyone, regardless of age and regardless of when they decided to settle down. I understand that the younger that you get married, the higher the divorce rate is. I really do get that, and I feel like I have a really big basis of why that is. I think that we are more impulsive than somebody who's in their 30s or 40s or whatever. And I think that people do tend to jump into marriages more than they would if they were a little bit older when they're younger. That's just the nature of being young. But at the same time, I don't feel like we need to put it down the way that it's put down in the media. I mean, I've seen a million different articles, and I posted a kind of a counter article to it a few months ago, and it was just a counter article about like the way that sometimes 20-something people describe marriage and kids and all of that. It seems like kind of a weight weighing down on your hopes and your dreams and the things that you love or the things that you want to do. And it really bugs me because, like, yeah, I understand that I am not going to be able to go and backpack through Europe and have no money and just do whatever I want and sleep on the ground or sleep in the bar or whatever. Like, that's not an option for me anymore because I'm going to have a child and I'm married, and that was my choice, and that was my choice in life. And I don't think that I deserve to be judged any more than somebody who goes and sleeps around Europe for a month, or even just goes and like has fun and does whatever. I mean, everybody says, oh, they're just young, right? So why is it that there's so much more judgment attached to settling down? Like, maybe I am just jumping into this life, but I am doing it fully, fully, fully aware of what I'm giving up and what I'm gaining. And I think that there are things that I'm gaining that overwhelm the negative things about being a 22-year-old mom. That's just the way that I feel about it. I don't need to be some ultra successful person in my career. I'm not saying that once my kids go to school and do that, I'm not going to have a career. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying that you can't have a career and be a mom. That's not even close to what I'm saying. But when you start a family so young, you do give up the years of working 150-hour weeks with no care in the world for anybody else except for yourself. You do give that up because you can't do both. You can't be a stay-at-home mom and work 100 hours a week. It's impossible. And whether you're 25 or 35, that's true. You have to choose, and I just made the choice a little bit earlier than everybody else, or than most people. So it bugs me that there's so many, like, be you, and do that, and, like, don't get tied down, and, like, don't give in to the pressure of society telling you that you need a boyfriend, or you need a husband, or you need kids, or whatever. Because there is there's people in the population that do make that choice, and they make it very consciously, and I'm one of those people. So I just feel like no matter what your path is, if you decide to travel, if you decide to work, if you decide to settle down, if you decide to be a stay-at-home wife, if you decide to be a stay-at-home mom, if you decide to be a working mom, if you decide to do whatever you want to do in your life, regardless of age, there shouldn't be judgment that comes along with it. Especially if you're going to sit here and say, well, I'm not judgmental because I'm thinking that women should be in the workplace, and that's not judgmental. Well, it isn't judgmental, and that's great. Women should be in the workplace. But you also shouldn't feel bad for wanting to stay home with your kids. I think there's two sides to every story, and I think that people forget that a lot. Obviously, this is something I'm kind of passionate about because I'm feeling this right now. I mean, a lot of my friends are sort of looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, I can't imagine having a child. I can't imagine being tied down. Like, aren't you going to miss going to the bars and all of that stuff? And yeah, I am. But I also did go to the bars 3 nights a week. And I did have that portion of my life. And when I chose to get married and when I chose to settle down, that was a part of my life that I was okay with saying a partial goodbye to. And that was a very conscious decision on my part. I think as long as you're consciously choosing things, you're not going to end up regretting them. Not to mention that having a child and being married doesn't mean that I'm never going to have fun again. That's not what that means. I think it's a very closed-minded view of what marriage and a family is to think that. My husband doesn't tear me down, he builds me up. And I love that about him. And I think if you decide to be single until you're 35 or 40, that's great too. But for me, this is the best option for me, and I don't feel like anybody else in the world can sit here and judge my decisions because they're not me, and they don't know my life, and they don't know the way that I truly feel inside about it. And I feel that way about everybody. Like I said, I think whatever you guys choose to do is totally up to you, but you have to own it, and you have to make sure that it's exactly what you want. And at the end of the day, if it's not what you want, then you can't be afraid to change your mind. Because we are young. We are able to start over if that's what you want. And I'm not saying get divorced and totally change your life unless it's what you want. This life isn't for everybody. Kids aren't for everybody. Working isn't for everybody. Everybody is different, and there isn't a set path that you should take. And you shouldn't let the judgment of others influence your decisions at all. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes your partner happy, and just live the way that you live, and don't feel bad about it. Because it's when you start feeling bad about it and second guessing it, people take that and they're like, ooh, she's not happy, or she made a mistake. When in real life, you're just worrying that somebody else thinks you made a mistake. Don't buy into that. Be strong and be happy and be totally committed to the life that you chose for yourself. And if you don't love it, get out of it and find something that you do love. Because it is that important to be happy. So anyway, I'm going to get off my little soapbox, and I hope you guys are all having a really good night, and I'll see you later.